What is going on, guys? DBG here, and at this stage I might as well throw on the face cam, lads. I'll take down the hood. It's still quite chilly in here, but lads, like, what? Like, when these came out, I was doing some college work. I had to do like actual other stuff. I have a video for MickROY coming out tomorrow or tonight, depending on when I finish, and a DB Goal video coming out tomorrow. So I'm doing some other stuff. I'm not putting all my damn time. I'm not like actually letting this game affect me anymore. But at the end of the day, I have to still talk about it because as of right now, hopefully not for long, but it's still my job. But lads, this is really, really bad. And I cannot stress this enough. Not all content is made for everybody, but there is objectively bad content. For example, moments cards. Moments cards are not made for everybody, so I know why some people don't care about them, but there is a chunk of the player base that really do care about moments cards. So I feel like neglecting an area of your player base, whether it be casuals or hardcore players, is not very good, because this clearly was a little bit tone deaf. This was a little bit tone deaf. I'm not going to call this bad content. I'm going to call it very slightly tone deaf. Do you want to know why? The reason why I'm calling this tone deaf? Because this card here, like this here came with 30 diamonds, 6 pink diamonds, and 3 galaxy opals. And if you won every game, you will get this done in 15 hours. This is 18 hours. And you're getting all diamonds and 1 galaxy opal. You're getting a lot less value out of a lot more time spent. And the only reason why this is somewhat passable is because you can AFK it. But I will say it's easier. I will say it's a lot easier. And you only need to play 1 game, win it, which is quite easy on All-Star. And you get one of these diamond cards. And you can get 2 or 3 of these diamond cards very easily. And you're cool if you're a beginner player. This is a much easier squad building method than the Spotlight Sims because of how difficult they are. But for hardcore players, this is pointless. But at the end of the day, I will admit this content's not for me. This content's not for a lot of people, but this content is not personally for me. Like, I'll like a few of these cards, but like this content is not, and for a lot of people complaining about this content is not made for us. I will admit it when there's content that is good, objectively good content for a specific player base, but maybe not made for us. The issue is that a lot of people guys who play this game online have not been rewarded even the slightest all year. And at the start of the year, it was only the hardcore grinders that were rewarded via the trophy case. And as time went on, it has become like it went from only hardcore players got rewarded to only casual players got rewarded, and there hasn't been really that mix, which is a little bit of an issue. But I'm somebody that is willing to admit a lot of the time when maybe something isn't for me, but might be good for the totality of the game. You want to know what's not good for the totality of the game? This crap. Like Rip Hamilton. Okay, great. You know what? I will say this right now. Giving us a usable Rip Hamilton card is good. Because Elton Brand doesn't have another card. There are Elton Brand fans out there. So I actually don't mind giving us Rip Hamilton and Elton Brand. Do you want to know what the big issue with Rip and Elton Brand is? Is that they're just copy and pastes of cards we got on day one. And it's a weird thing that 2K refused to do this year. Like, there's no difference between these cards. 44 different total stats that the pink diamond's better in. But other than passing IQ, which doesn't do anything, and passing vision, which doesn't do anything, the highest is a +3 in any total stat. Badges wise, okay, you get better badges, but they're the same card. You're not going to notice a difference. Like, you're literally not. They're the same card. It's the exact same Rip Hamilton. And the big issue is that you've got Embiid dribble style, Elton Brand based on normal, basic leaner. Like, this card's unusable. This card's unusable. And like, you know why I say, oh, these cards like aren't for everybody? These cards are for nobody. And do you want to know how easy it would have been to make these cards for somebody? Do you want to know how much easier it would be? So you see these animations here? You can give them the same stats, by the way. You just have to change the animation. So you gotta go with this Jaden Springer Kuzma on quick. Or even very quick. If you want to give him normal dribble style, cool, but then give him the release on very quick. It makes him interesting. You give him, keep Pro Tuning is fine. Jordan dribble style, elite motion stance. And I don't know, just a size up that's not normal maybe. Either way though, just makes the cards feel a little bit different and not just a copy paste. That's what they are. They are a copy and paste. Exact same hot zones. They're a copy and paste of each other. And I don't think that's acceptable. I really don't. Because there does get to a stage where you have to do a copy. You have to basically copy and paste cards. For example, when just let me think of a card that's already basically perfect SIGs and stats wise. Tracy McGrady. So for 2K to give us a Tracy McGrady, you're going to give us an invincible T-Mac, and the only difference is going to be is you're going to see KPJ on very quick, and you're probably going to see Stevie Francis size up. Maybe a Trey Escape. I think they're probably going to leave McCurry. Like, that's all you're going to see is the difference. And in stats-wise, you can't get much better. So there's times where you have to basically copy and paste cards. But that is an issue. That is a, like, issue of this card being too good rather than what we're seeing today where every card, both of these cards legitimately suck. So normally I would make a rant video, but I would rather explain why this is bullshit. Like, when they put these cards in the game, I'm pretty confident that there is, like, when this data is being updated, that they just flick a button 3 times. Like, I'm pretty confident that less than 20 clicks of a cursor could have made this card and this card at least interesting. Because, like, for example, if you are a Rip Hamilton fan or an Elton Brand fan, this card's useless and this card's useless because they're day 1 cards. So if you're a fan of Rip Hamilton, you can't use a Rip Hamilton card that's competent in this game. They could have very, very easily made this Rip Hamilton competent. It was hard. Not that it was hard. It was easier for them, by the way, to make him useless than make him competent. But the amount of time that it would have taken for 2K to make these cards good is probably equal to the amount of time that it would have taken them to type out this tweet for the 4th time, telling us to not miss out on Lil Durk. Like, 4 times. Like, again, another ratio. What? Like, I understand why they blocked replies, and there is no person that deserves to be unfollowed more than me, by the way. Dude, I ratioed you by basically saying that, do you know there's an actual league called the NBA? And then today, again, when these cards came out, I'm pretty sure I ratioed you again by saying W, absolutely incredible. Both these cards will be a huge addition to my day 1 squad. Oh, wait, it's mid-March. I've ratioed you twice in a day. I don't want to ratio you. And, like, who's on their way to Glen Rice? Man, it's literally just logging in. Like, they literally are saying, you want me to pack my controller to Cali? I love the fact that, like, Carlo has a challenge in the game about him. He's playing for 200k of the company, and he's still Carlo. He's still 100% Carlo. I love it. But it's like, you see this right here. You see this right here. I do think there are flaws. A lot of people are going to complain about, you couldn't have announced yesterday, not even home, loving this all-star difficulty, easier for comp player. Like, I genuinely do think a lot of people are going to like this. So there's a lot of people that are negative, and I stand by that because a lot of people are going to be negative when content is not for them. But, like, even when it came to Salim Stoudemire, what are people saying about this? Token market update, what if everyone stopped buying packs? These are budget goats. So, like, at least with these cards here, people are complaining about other things. Because, again, people are just disgruntled from my team. They're not complaining about the content, and that's what's happening here. Like, Lil Durk is just a ridiculous thing. But it would take less effort. You see the way, you know, like, we all know, like, again, I personally, like, myself, Ty, JD, Richie, as far as I'm aware, and maybe more than I don't know, got unfollowed by not only on my team page, which is, I actually think it's understandable that we got unfollowed by that page, but we got unfollowed by a lot of 2K employees' personal accounts, not work accounts, they're personal accounts. And it was at the same time, so it was 1,000,000% coordinated internally. They all unfollowed within 5 minutes of each other. So obviously there was something internal about that. If 2K actually put their resources into making stuff that we can enjoy in the game, because I love Rip Hamilton. I really like Rip Hamilton, by the way. I'm going to choose Rip Hamilton. I'm never going to use him, because he's absolutely unusable. But, like, there are going to be situations where I'd be, like, using all-time Pistons team. I know he doesn't have a Pistons jersey. All-time Wizards teams. Where if this card even had a release on quick, maybe I put Rip Hamilton in my, like, theme team for the Pistons and I'll be happy. But you can't even use him because he's unusable. If 2K internally put 1/10 of the thought into what content to make, or how to make each specific bit of content at least worthwhile, rather than trying to silence creators and rather than trying to silence us, we wouldn't need to be silenced because we'd be hyping things up. Again, like, I'm not going to be one of the guys complaining about this. I know people did. And look, I think people have the right to complain about anything, especially if it's not good for them specifically. Because I know this isn't good for a lot of people. But for my position as someone who talks about the mode, I have to be able to try to look at bigger picture things. And bigger picture, I think this is really good. Especially for a lot of us, because we can just AFK our way through it. I think this is, while yes, this is compared to Spotlights, maybe not the greatest, but you could also look at this as the best domination we've ever had. I think that if you look at this as a domination rather than a Spotlights, this is the best domination we've ever had. As far as rewards go. But, I just really am kind of annoyed by this because it's clear a lot of thought was put into this. Again, we got like Lutherhead, Ben Gore or Salim Stoudemire. A lot of these guys, like Solinger, a lot of these guys have cool animations, they have cool jump shots. So it's clear that thought was put into this. But then it just takes one more day until laziness kicks in and no thought is put into these cards. And it's just inconsistencies. And the biggest issue with all of this is that the lows in this game are so low that even rational people, when your highs aren't objective highs for everybody, and even for a hardcore player, when your highs aren't even really highs, this is a high for a casual player though, so I'm not going to argue that. When your highs can't be considered highs for everyone, and your lows are the lowest lows we've ever seen in my team. Like, content like this is like the worst free content we've seen ever. Literally ever. Like, this today, by the way, the last few days have been great. I stand by this. The last few days of these have been great. Like, I liked Kaminsky, I liked Solinger, I liked Cauley Stein. I didn't mind the two guys yesterday because they were both fun. The last few days have been great, but it's clear that obviously their thought process was, we're going to give out these cards, we're going to do this, but they thought, we've already have these in 96, we can't make them better in 96. Like, maybe not stats wise, yeah, but you can go and update their animations to make them a little more usable. I'm not even saying good animations, just enough that they can stand there on the court and do something. But it's always disappointing when the negatives are a lot easier to point out in this game than the positives. And I think the biggest reason for that is because the negatives are stuff that should never happen. Like, this 2K copying and pasting a card from September in March should never happen. Like, it's been more than 6 months. Like, that situation shouldn't, point blank period, never happen. And again, and the reason is maybe because they were trophy case cards. And I will always say this. Every single negative point that I ever talk about, not gameplay related, can be linked back to the trophy case. Everything from bad pacing, from bad content, from the fact that free content's post status sucked, for the fact that I actually think pack odds being bad. I think pack odds being bad can be indirectly linked back to the trophy case. And this is another casualty of the damn worst idea that has ever been put into a 2K game, the trophy case.